mean, that's just, bro, this league is just like, the amount of talent is just outpacing the amount of roster spots that they don't do.
You've been here long enough for me. I've been saying this for years. Bro, it's ridiculous.
It's becoming like the companion to soccer. You look at the global branding that the NBA is doing. The NBA is putting their players like Steph in commercials with Messi and shit. In Dubai and whatnot. In London, they have commercials with Neymar and what's his name? Fucking Luca and shit, dude. They're cross branding these, and this is for a reason. They're not doing that with Mahomes and
the game don't translate like that.
Bro, it doesn't translate. These Korean, Spanish, African, Caribbean kids, they all dribbling this shit because it's a stationary, it's a solitary game.
And it's
Soccer,
a story
solitary game. You can do it by yourself.
Like it's NBA. The NBA has almost gotten to a fact where it's like a TV drama. Like even throughout the off season, like it's all even with this Draymond stuff, like it's always a headline. It's always something to talk about. Where KD gonna go? Or what Kyrie doing? They gonna trade Kyrie? Every week is something in the NBA. That's what's like catapult.
And think about this, right? Like, and I have to talk about this dude. Think about the gravity of the star player. Wembanyama hasn't even played a game, and people are tanking. People are strict. People are strategizing how to get this dude. He is changing the ideas of half of the league, and he hasn't even played a minute
of NBA basketball. But that's all everyone is talking about. It's another story. And even throughout the season, even when the season is over, now who's going to get him? And that's going to be another big storyline for the NBA next. So they already wrote it. They got it.
Dude, why do you think guys like Mike Schmitz get hired from Draft Express over at Portland Trailblazers? Because those guys like Mike Schmitz have been calling for Wembanyama to be the guy in 2023 for 4 years now. They're like, oh, he's the best prospect I've ever seen. Portland's hired him. He hasn't missed. This dude Mike Schmitz called Luka and he called Porzingis too. He's like, these are two can't miss guys, and they didn't miss. So for him to be able to get the job in Portland, the amount of intel in around the world on basketball, man, it's just coming up. They got these kids, Scoot Henderson, and like the G League is becoming a legitimate entity where you have to.
Who called that shit?
It's more stars in the G League than college basketball.
Who called that shit years ago, bro?
It's developing real talent now, dude.
Yep.
Alvaredo's in the league now on the Rockets. He was an unsung hero, pounding Chris Paul, Herb Jones, Jordan Poole.
Bro, that basketball is at a point from a young person's perspective that once you are 14 years old, there's such a skill set and talent level that it's overwhelming. Most dudes back in Jordan's day, 80s, right? Like we were all 80s babies, 70s babies, right? Like except for Q. But for our generation, we didn't understand what basketball camps were, what AAU was, with a YouTube video to go train.
Like rich people and stuff.
You know what I'm saying? Like the dudes that made it because of raw athletic ability. Then you got a fucking legendary coach like Dean Smith or some shit, and then it molded you, and then boom, you took off, right? Like it was different how you got great then versus now. Now there's a system. There's a way you have to play basketball all year round.
If you can afford this and get into this circuit and get into this system, boom.
High school ball, AAU ball, the trainers, like, so by the time you're 14, 15, 16, the skill set is ridiculous. Bro,
the girls are dunking now.
Bro!
The girls are dunking now, bro. It's just
like
years ago.
Standing dunk.
Bro, like years ago, bro. And this is why I love we've been doing this sports shit for a minute. People, what is gonna make the girls' game change? They gotta get above the rim. They gotta. I'm not saying that there ever be what the NBA is, but in my opinion, once they start getting above the rim, that shit changes the game. That changes the game.
High school girls are tomahawking shit.
Yes,
bro.
I seen those.
It's getting like all these ballers life videos, these little 9th grade, these 10th grade girls. I ain't never seen no shit like this in my life, bro. Even the WNBA is becoming to a point where the skills and the handle and the shot making. The coaching is it's like, bro, if you're a fan of hoop, then you should be able to enjoy a Sparks game the way that you enjoy a Orlando Magic game. It's the same shit at this point in time. And when you're talking about that level, now if you're talking about Golden State versus obviously the quality is different, but the game is becoming very symmetrical, bro. It's just, I'm so happy for it, bro, because this dude